Shalom, Kohlor, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing his work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now, more so than ever. All right, the would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. All right, this is not a black thing. All right, and to the few Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth and sincerity. And as I often say when I open up, do not get it twisted. The primary makeup of the Israelites on earth today are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But there are many of our people that are scattered among the heathen that have the appearance of the heathen. And this movie really touches on that aspect in this movie. I also have to give an honorable mention to the movie Freaky Tales as well. All right. What's his name? Pedro. Can't think of his name right now. The one from The Last of Us, from Game of Thrones. He's a phenomenal actor. But what these movies are showing you is that they know in these last days that there was a very strong spiritual element to the so-called Negroes. All right. They're very well aware of it, and they show you that intensely in this movie. All right. And the fact of the matter, and that we're among the other nations, because what's the, if you know, when you know your history, you know that, let's go. What's his name right here? Damn it. It wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm trying to get to this actor. They're not showing him. I think his name is Jack O'Connell. All right. Not saying that he himself is an Israelite in reality, but let's see if we can do it that way. It's not. Why is it showing everybody but him? It's not showing Jack O'Connell. All right. But Jack O'Connell is the one that plays the head villain, so to speak. All right. Who's actually bringing a message of good, so that he thinks, and talks about love and family, and this is what Esau does when he brings democracy. Because when Esau brings democracy, he brings death. He brings togetherness, but he brings togetherness under an iron rule, under a cloak of something good, which is really bad, which makes him a dominant leading leader without checks and balances. All right. And that's what this individual is bringing. I was just trying to see if I can, why they not showing he's a main character, and they showing his underlings and not showing him. All right. When it shows the cast. But anyway, all that aside, I don't want to get too deep into the movie anyway. All right. But let me go back to that word sinner. A sinner is an Israelite in the first place. All right. You cannot, what is it in 1 John? When it says sin is transgression of the law, I believe it's 1 John 6:4. Let me go. Let me just go to it. And I just did this on the sometimes I'll check my precepts and get them all ready and lined up. And sometimes I don't. This is one of those times. Yeah, found it. 1 John 3:4. And it reads, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is transgression of the law, which proves in the New Testament that the Bible was still to and for the Israelites, because none of the other nations were under the law. All right. But I'll give you a quick overview without giving away the movie. But I highly suggest that you go see this movie. I made it an order in my camp. It's just that spiritual. You know, this is a movie that brothers definitely need to see. And but in the movie, you got these two twin brothers that left Mississippi, the Delta, went up to Chicago, was working with the gangsters, with the Irish gangsters, and with the Italian gangsters. Came back to Mississippi with the truckload of beer and a truckload of Italian wine and lots of money. And they bought an old sawmill and was going to turn it into a juke joint, and bought it from a Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. All right? And the Klansman, and it's just going to show you how Esau Edom does not change. His mission, his desire is to kill Jacob. All right? You know, after he sells something to him, just like in when you go back to Genesis, after he sold his birthright, when it came time for the blessing to be given, Esau Edom brought his red ass in there and tried to get a blessing from Isaac that no longer belonged to him. All right? As a matter of fact, let me find it real quick. And then lied about it. And okay, I started Genesis 27 and 31, and it says, and he also made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thou so might bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? All right, because Isaac, you know, truly wanted to bless Esau. I mean, truly, but Jacob got the blessing. And the Christian church even teaches that Jacob stole the blessing. No, the blessing belonged to Jacob. First of all, the Lord said that he would get it. And then Esau had already sold it to him. How you going to go collect on something that you no longer own? All right? That's like getting the equity in a home. You get the equity, but the home, you sold that home. Someone else owns that home now, and here you are trying to collect the equity in it. All right? And it says, and Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who art thou? And where is he that have taken venison and brought it to me and eaten it of all before thou camest, and have blessed him? Yeah, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard these words of his father, he cried with a great exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father. All right. And he said, take thy brother came in subtly and have taken away thy blessing. All right. And he didn't take away his blessing. He received his blessing because it was ordained of the father, and Esau had already sold it. And Esau loves to disregard the law. He loves to disregard his word. And he's just a backwards dealer. And I'm telling you all this because in this movie, when these twins brought this sawmill, all right, this Klansman, this Grand Dragon, who was saying the Klan don't exist no more, all right, first tried to talk shit to them until they checked his ass and told him, ain't no boys here, it's men here with real bullets and real money. Which one you want, basically? All right. He took the money, sold the mill to them. But then his whole point was to wait till all these niggas gathered up in this place. All right. Come back to this place and turn it into a killing floor. Come back with the Klan while all these niggas was inside and burn it to the ground and shoot them down as they come out running out the fire. That was the plan, which is the plan now, because Esau is done with you niggas. It's not only that, she was among them. And little they know that her daddy was a nigga too. All right? We always tell you that. And she played this role so well, it made me even rethink my stance on her, on Miss Steinfeld here. And I've seen another role which made me feel the same way about her, so I'm beginning to wonder about her now. But in the movie, her daddy is a Negro. All right? Because her father's father was a Negro. And she came out looking like this. All right? And she was in love with one of the twins. Because he talked about how he stuck his tongue in her and fucked her so hard that she thought he changed his mind. But he was so in love with her that he left her. Because he said they would kill both of us with us together in Mississippi. All right? And she was like, I don't like my life. All I wanted to do was be with you. All right? And so they lived in a world where that just wasn't so acceptable. But nevertheless, the point being is that the goal of these Edomites was simply to destroy Jake because they don't want to see Jake with autonomous wealth. They don't want to see Jake prosper at all. All right, so I'm going to go into the receipts. I have a collection of videos because she keep piling up that I keep getting from the my beloved April O'Neil, the where is it? The reporter here, and Jacob, and this chick right here is a Jake too, because she's all over the internet. She's very boisterous. She's definitely a Jake. I think she's Northern Kingdom. I don't know what tribe she is. I really think that she's Judah. All right, she's Judah, because there's intermixing among the tribes too. She just got way too much. She's just a very light complected nigga woman, but she's speaking some real shit this time. And often she does, just from a worldly point of view. All right, but it's real shit coming down the pipeline for you Israelites. Real shit. And you're not really focusing on what's important. So before I get to that, matter of fact, I'll save those two for another video. These two right here, I'm going to go down to this one at the bottom, the most recent one. And to this video from this Japanese leader. All right. So we'll start with him because the nations are angry. Matter of fact, let's get that first. Let's get that scripture. And they're aligning themselves against Babylon, aligning themselves against Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. So just like in this movie, he warned them because he said the clan don't exist, and they knew he was full of shit. And they told him, all right, now that we done gave you this money for this place, if you or any of your clan brothers show up and y'all set foot across our property line, we gonna kill you where you stand. All right, they did warn him. Just saying. All right, so this is Revelation 11 and 18. And it says, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged. And thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants, the prophets and the saints. So in the middle of all this chaos between the nations, the prophets and the saints are risking their lives and their freedom to bring you this truth, to bring you these messages. Some of us are going to pay for it with our lives. All right. It says, and them that fear the name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroys the earth. Okay. That's that one. And this Lord's about to destroy this place. And now this is Revelation 17:16 is what I really wanted. I wanted them both, actually. And it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore." And Salaki, I got a cough drop in my mouth from the scratchy throat. "These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Japan, Ammon, all right, which, by the way, the Bible tells you that the Lord hid Israelites among Ammon, okay? He are part of the nations that hate the whore, and they're going to all shoot fire upon her. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick, because if you see the movie, you'll see little Ammon here, all right, and her husband. This is Isaiah 16:4. "Let mine outcast dwell with thee, Moab." All right, well, among Moab, same thing. All right, "And thou shalt covert them, and thou cover Shalakti, and thou shalt be a covert to them," meaning a hiding place, "from the face of the spoiler," which was Esau, Edom. "For the extortioner is at an end, the spoiler ceaseth, and the oppressors are consumed out of the land." He's the oppressor, and he's being consumed out of the land. Everyone is turning against him. And the Lord is so strategic that he hid some of the members of Judah among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. All right. You can't outmaneuver, outsmart the Lord, which is Esau continually tries to do in the stupidity and ignorance of his pride. All right. So without any further ado, let's listen to the stance of this Ammonite leader on his stance against Trump and the Edomite leadership in the world.
The United States is saying their logic is all over the place, and there's no. The United States is saying is completely unreasonable. Their logic is all over the place, and there's no consistency at all. However, when Japan negotiates with what they are saying, to be frank, it's akin to being extorted by a delinquent. If Japan gives in, thinking it's a negotiation or a deal, and compromises on its position, it sets a bad precedent as a customary practice. If you give money to someone extorting you, they'll just come back to extort you again.
That's right.
In the first place, even their equations are completely nonsensical. I wasn't good at math either, but if that equation appeared in a math test, it would definitely score 0.
Wow.
That's why, even though Minister Akazawa is serious and capable, there's a concern about whether it's okay for a serious person to handle this. Since they're not a straightforward opponent, they won't listen to straightforward reasoning. Even though all options were mentioned, you must never show compassion to an opponent who isn't straightforward. If you ease up on them, it will set a bad example. In any case, I hope we absolutely do not give in to America's extortion. This may sound harsh, but it really is extortion. If we comply with this, it will truly set a bad example. Truly. Minister Iwata, I know you might not have much time, but I highly recommend watching the documentary about Roy Cohn, the lawyer who mentored him, and the documentary about Mr. Trump. By watching those, I hope you can gain some insight into what kind of person Mr. Trump is. When you watch it, you really get a sense of, oh, this is the kind of person he is. During the tariff review, he was so relaxed that he went to his own golf course. It wasn't a decision made after much deliberation. He's really mocking the world. Well, you know, Minister Akazawa is a serious person, and Minister Iwaya is also a serious person. So if you approach that person seriously, you'll definitely just get taken advantage of. I believe that Minister Iwaya was quite spirited in his younger days, and I hope he remembers that. Even now, Minister Iwaya is full of energy, and I urge him to demonstrate that spirited nature in negotiations with the United States and to promise not to yield to any extortion. With that, I conclude my questions.
All right, so they not effing around, man. And then the next guy comes on and pretty much echoes what he just said. So the nations are angry, right? And they do hate the whore, and they're ready to shoot fire on them, and it's going to bring on some serious consequences. And Jake is out here bullshitting. So let's play Sister Girl. And you know, I've always said to myself, I wanted to see what she looked like without makeup, because he's always wearing such caked on ass makeup. And yeah, makeup it does wonders. All right.
Guys are super excited that China removed the confidentiality clause, so they can now tell us where to buy these designer brands at discount. And I mean, I'm not going to hold you. That's a well-played move. But why do you care about buying discount designer when you can't afford your rent?
Exactly. And then
What does it matter?
What does it matter? And not only that, she just showed it as all knockoffs. That there's no difference between the knockoff and the ones that they send to these nations just so that the nations can put their seal of approval on it, but it still came from the same factory as the knockoff. How stupid are you? All right? As a matter of fact, I would say the smarter person is the person that actually buys the knockoff. All right? Instead of overpaying thousands of dollars for something just because it has a piece of metal on it that says Gucci, Yee-Saint, the Laurent, or Louis Vuitton. It was all made in China.
We're still over-consuming. We're still over-purchasing. We don't even know if we're going to have constitutional rights next week.
Exactly.
Let's be for real. Let's be for real. The president of the Ukraine was here. They were mocking him. That's crazy. Then he brought in Netanyahu, president of El Salvador. El Salvador has concentration camps, death camps, bodies piled high, surrounded by pools of blood. People on top, people on top, people on top of people.
And they want to send Jakes there.
That he brags about. He's a dictator.
They definitely want to send you home.
Most of the people in his camps are
these homegrown issues, as Trump said. That's talking about Jake. That's talking about us. All right? They want to send you to this place. If they create it, and the most of the people that are being oppressed and murdered there, all right, who are not criminals at all, are Jake. Most of them
aren't even criminals. They're journalists. They're activists. They're anybody who tried to speak out against his dictatorship.
And who speaks out against them more than us?
He's just out there murking everybody. Let's be for real. He don't care.
Genocidal maniac.
They put out bombs that look like canned goods.
God
so
damn.
that starving kids will walk up to them, pick them up, open them, just blow them to pieces. That's real. They do that.
Damn.
That's who he's inviting to the White House. Conor McGregor got invited to the White House after raping a woman so brutally they had to surgically remove her tampon.
Damn.
I mean, these are the people he's putting all in your face. And we're excited because China is now letting us buy designer brands at discount.
Because Americans are collectively dumb as fuck.
Fuck a fucking Birkin bag. If they implement martial law, you're not gonna be able to go anywhere to show that shit off. Like y'all are still worried about the wrong things. What about your fucking freedom?
So, and she's worried about freedom and not worried about salvation. All right, so, you've been warned. All of you have been warned. All right? Because this is what we've been doing. And I'll close with this scripture. Non-stop. This is Habakkuk 2 and 1. And it reads, "And I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write this vision and make it plain upon tables, that he that may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. And we've been telling you that the end days, the last prophecies are not tarrying, they're happening. The doors of mercy are going to close. All right. All your beliefs has been proven to be frauds and lies. Christianity, black culture, Egyptology. Egypt, the father of Egyptology is an Edomite. That was put together by a so-called white man to throw you off from your Hebrew heritage and throw you off the trail of who you really are. And some of you, even though that's been proven, you still want to cling on to those lies. Well, mainly the ones who make money from it. All right. So you have been warned. With that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekaha Kodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.